It's been 2 weeks since we are in Dahab. I was waiting for this trip because last year we spent 2 months here and fell in love. It was like a non-stop holiday every day there. This time I expected similar emotions, and since I already know the place, I booked our accommodation before arrival.
The apartment looked cool. A few minutes from the seafront, 2 courtyards with a tea area and a hammock. There was a working table of normal height as well.
The owner responded quickly and didn't require a deposit, as realtors do. I'm a psychologist, and on this channel I share ideas and tips on mindfulness, better relationship with yourself, and ways of fighting anxiety and depression. I also show life with my little family. We are currently based in rural Bulgaria, but travel from time to time to other places. If you want to support me, subscribe to my channel, click like under this video and a little bell, not to miss my future videos. Also feel free to share my content with your friends and leave a comment. I'm open for a discussion. We took a long time to get there, a 3.5 hours bus to Sofia, then 1.5 hour flight to Antalya, and 5-hour layover and 2-hour flight to Sharm el-Sheikh. It takes another hour to get to Dahab from Sharm el-Sheikh airport, so we arrived at 3 a.m. very tired. Naomi fell asleep on the plane and didn't wake up. We liked the house from the first sight. The next day we tested the internet, looked around a bit, and everything seemed okay. The house was not new, but no one expected it to be. I actually wanted to experience more authentic living here. Last year we lived in a new block of flats, so it wasn't so typical Egyptian. The house wasn't super comfortable, but main thing is that the internet seemed to be working okay. The owner brought some router extension, there is a work table with soft chairs, and the house offered enough space for 3 of us to feel free. On the first day I was annoyed because I slept for 3 hours only. My daughter woke me up at regular time. On the second day after I woke up, I realized that everything was bothering me. The house, which turned out to be dark and it felt like being in a cave, with an uncomfortable shower and a table after 5 minutes of sitting at which my back started to ache. Locals who smile but try to cheat you. Our landlord turned out to be a very polite man with good English, but I had to beg for such things as kitchen pots and bed sheets because it wasn't provided initially. I started noticing animal shit everywhere outside. I somehow forgot about the Dahab street dogs and cats. The dusty Asala Square with the market, which is now only 3 minutes away, but it doesn't inspire. A toilet in which I almost started feeling claustrophobic due to the fact that there is a few centimeters of space from my knees to the wall. All this started blowing my mind immensely, and I couldn't calm down. I was actually going crazy. I wrote to the landlord several times a day. I was angry that we had already paid for the month. I was worried that the internet was slowing down and that I might not be able to make video calls, and without it there would be no work. I was upset because we didn't bring Naomi's pushchair and wouldn't be able to go for 10 kilometers walks along the coast like before. I was as angry as I hadn't been in a long time. Pooh Peter. And I felt very uncomfortable about it, but I couldn't calm down. Okay, I forgot about everything at the beach, but then it caught up with me again. I checked my calendar hoping it's just PMS, but my period was still far away. I couldn't understand where the magic of the Dahab had gone. Everything is wrong this time. I baked bread with Egyptian parchment paper, and look how it looks. I can't do anything about it. It's stuck like that. I don't know if I can say it in English, but it's just stuck. And it's the most horrible oven I've ever seen. And then my lower back started to hurt. At first I thought that it was stiffness in the ligaments because I didn't do yoga for a week, but next day I started walking like a grandmother who couldn't bend. I didn't sleep the half of the next night, and in the morning I was woken up again by my daughter. I fed her, took her to the kindergarten. Peter was sleeping because the mosquitoes got him at night. Hobbled back to the dark Egyptian house and burst into tears. I roared because I was in pain, because I was tired from lack of sleep, because my body was getting old, because the happy and magic was gone, because I didn't want to go back to Bulgaria, because I didn't have friends around due to the fact that there is the war in Ukraine and other wars, because I didn't know how to earn a lot of money, because nothing is clear, simply because of the fact I didn't feel happy here. I moaned for a while and felt a little bit better. I asked myself, why have I been suffering so much every day for a week now and couldn't relax? It seems that I can do it to a degree that has started feeling it in my lower back. Why do I have such a stubborn mind that I demand the world to bend? Why don't I ventilate my anger in some other way, through body techniques, through art therapy, but continue to focus on the negative? But is everything really so negative? Do I really have to wallow in hopelessness? And why did my second trip to Dahab begin just like that? And what if this episode teaches me a different vision and flexibility? What if it's my personal mental trip without psychedelics? We went for a walk with Peter, talked a little and drank coffee. I leaned on his arm and he said that he loved me even when I was such an intolerable old woman. So all this brought me another topic for this video, which I wanted to talk about. How do I get on with frustration that arises all of a sudden and keeps on getting into more and more unsatisfying things? Like the lack of table lamps for reading in bed, or oven that doesn't turn without a risk of burning your fingers. First of all, I swear out loud to let the frustration out and ventilate my negativity. It's not an advice for everybody to do so, but what I mean is that it's better to curse loud when nobody's around and then go and ask for something you need. Like I did every time I realized we need something like extra set of bedding. It's better to act like this than to bury it in yourself, suppress it or deny it. It doesn't mean that if you swear like a sailor, it's gonna solve the problem. So the best way of doing it, feel the anger, then come down and try to express yourself in a calm way. Of course, sometimes you have to show your opponent that you're pissed off, otherwise nothing will change in their attitude to you. And sometimes it gets stuck in your body, I mean psychosomatics. Honestly, I don't know if my back reacted to my frustration with a shift of vertebrae, but it definitely slowed me down and caused me to think, oh, what's going on? I think living simple sometimes is just good for you because it brings you back to the roots and expands your horizon a bit. It's not all about just comfort, you know.
What is a flower, 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 flower?
What is a cabbage, 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 cabbage?
What is a sweet, 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 sweet?
What is a bacon, 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 bacon?
What is a spot, 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 spot?
So now the CBT part. What techniques does cognitive behavioral therapy use to deal with anger, to help you conquer anger? First of all, it's useful to know that anger is determined genetically by 40% at least, and it means that if your parents or grandparents were quite angry, it means that you inherited it probably, and it doesn't justify your anger, but it helps you to understand yourself better, and also know that for you it might be more difficult to calm down your anger than for other people whose ancestors were more peaceful and cheerful. If you imagine a thermometer of anger where 0 is a light frustration, which goes higher to severe frustration and then to anger and rage, it's important to know that you should notice your anger before it goes up to 50 and do some techniques to suppress it, to calm it down, because if it gets higher, it's basically impossible to do anything with it. But for people whose anger is genetically determined, it's important to notice when the anger gets bigger and not more than 30-40% on the thermometer. Anger is always secondary. There are some other needs behind this feeling, and it's important to identify which ones. For example, we might want others to count with us or respect our feelings, respect our boundaries. We want to be treated in a nice way. In cases like mine, the anger was something that wasn't directly connected to the subject of anger. I got frustrated because I found that the situation that I expected turned out to be a bit different, and I had two options: either to go back straight away to Bulgaria in winter, which I didn't want at all, or to put up with it and do something about it. So I chose the second option and started looking into details. What is actually behind this frustration? Why I don't like what surrounds me? And I found out that it all goes deeper into the state where I can't go back to my homeland because of the war, and I don't feel free. I feel limited to two options, either at Dahab or Bulgaria now, and that's what frustrated me the most. When I detected this, I actually felt more control of the situation, because I tried to look at it in a different way. I still had these two options, which are not bad at all if you look into it, and I accepted it. So what to do if you notice your anger gets to the 50 degrees on the thermometer, and when you lose your temper, you start losing your temper? Learn to notice when you get closer to this point. What does your body feel? Do your face start going like this, or is it difficult to breathe, or you want to scream, you want to raise your voice? Notice it before the point of no return. If you're in a confrontation with somebody, just exit the room for a while, drink some water, or take deep breaths. It may seem trivial, but it really helps. After 5 minutes of breathing like this, or even a couple of minutes, you will feel calmer.
For the situations when anger is a permanent problem, in CBT we use cognitive techniques of thoughts monitoring. Filling in a special table, people learn to notice what preceded the anger outburst, what way of anger expression they use, and what are the short and long-term consequences of such forms of anger expression. Let me know if you're interested in the topic, because there is much more on anger management than this. Thanks for watching.
No photos, no photos.